Hello, my name is Suzanne Andres. I'm the author of the book Passion Seeds. Today I'm going to read to you a selection of poems dealing with racism from my work. A significant part of Passion Seeds deals with addressing the internalized voice of racism as well as the internal voice of racism. The internalized voice I categorize as prejudices or slurs that one hears or has heard from others or society. The internal voice of racism refers to racism or prejudice that organically comes from or exists in one's self, that is manifested in one's own prejudicial thoughts or reactions. Oftentimes we assume that people in an interracial relationship are magically or automatically devoid of racism. In their present, Oftentimes we assume that people in an interracial relationship are magically or automatically devoid of racism in their present, past, or future. I believe such thinking is dangerous on the part of viewers as well as those in the relationship. My work explores some very uncomfortable terrain, thoughts and reactions that usually are not talked about, not even acknowledged, privately, publicly, or to one's own self. Because to do so is to acknowledge or to be put in the category of racist and therefore bad. This sort of disclosure in my poetry comes from the confessional poetry. The confessional poetry movement started in the 1960s in America. Sharon Olds, Anne Sexton, and Sylvia Plath are prime sources of inspiration for me. In the 1960s and 70s, Olds and Plath were writing about taboo subjects such as mental illness, suicide, family secrets, subjects that were usually kept in the closet. It seems that examining one's own racism as well as society's is today a taboo subject. Very few poets discuss this in their work. It's one of my work's focuses. The underlying assumption is that there are only two categories, that of non-racist, 100% accepting, good, no bad thoughts, no observation of racial differences, and that of racist, absolute hate, absolute intolerance. In my opinion, if we cannot discuss our racist wounds, they cannot heal. And if we're in these extremes, then we cannot get to where things are improving. Choosing to believe that we as individuals and as society have instantaneously jumped thousands of years ahead to some state where we do not have any biases is blind to our actual present situation. Many of us believe that we are not prejudiced, but oftentimes encountering and interacting with people of different races proves otherwise. The question is, are we even conscious about our thoughts and our actions in our interactions of people with different races? I feel many people are simply not aware of themselves. I am attempting to create self-introspection on the issue of racism and to create dialogue on the issue of racism. I would like to read to you a series of poems about the self-introspection. There are several approaches to this introspection. The first poem I'll read to you is called Always on Stage. In this poem, I present racist slurs that cycle through the white female speaker's head as she is making love with her love, a black man. The paradox is that while making love is supposed to be an expression of love that's relaxing, fun, playful, full of pleasure, here it is shown to contain pain and plaguing thoughts. Always on Stage. Together, we are actors in one body, black body with white arms and legs. But even alone with you, in the most private room, I see them in the mirror, spectators staring at my hands clenching your dark shoulders. They shudder as my hands cup your buttocks. They whisper, "It's just jungle fever." While I rub the back of your head, they grimace and draw back, exclaiming, "Nappy hair." They then push in against the mosquito netting, poking your flesh, poking mine. Their words wind around my throat. I close my eyes, nestle my nose into your neck, and take your scent that's like rubber deep into my lungs. You are comfort. I touch your chest and feel the need to rub to the muscle, to the bone, but they press against the netting, and I can't send them from our room. The words wind around my throat. Jungle fever, nappy hair, rubber, as they cajole and poke. Then your chin starts to arc, from my nose to my forehead, and I want to see this. Your mouth opens, your eyes close and press tight, and then your cry comes. I smile and kiss your cheek, pressing deep into your high cheekbones, finding my own skull. The next poem, Plucking Inside, builds on the poem Always on Stage, which you just heard, taking the speaker's own choice of rubber for her lover's scent as material for inquiry. She asks herself why she chose this word and what it means that she herself chose this word for her love. The speaker analyzes her own responsibility as well as society's. Plucking Inside. I called your scent rubber, like tires. I took your warm scent from the recess of your arms and capped it to wheel rims, something that touches dirt, on vehicles that move people, so that they don't have to move themselves. And I loved you as much as I knew how, with a mixture of tree gum and the pulsing hidden in my cortex. This man isn't man. Black is separate. White is right. Black and white cannot unite. When blacks go with whites, they climb high, and when whites writhe with blacks, they seep low. Oh, I loved you so tight. I wound around you like a tire to its rim. When you were away, my smile dimmed. But how did that word zoom out of my mind with fondness? Did fondness really push that word out of my heart to talk about you? I want the reason to be family, some shading in my past, where Uncle said, we kept our streets real clean, with a smile, and I was silent, as if this did not infiltrate me. But there it is, his scent like rubber. The image of Sambo grimming, red rubber lips, large white teeth, and black skin shining like shoe polish, like lumps of coal, like capitalistic endeavors and mines, for our humanity to pile and pile ourselves up and up, solid on the skulls of others, ultimately the skin of no consequence, red, yellow, white, or black. Because our sense of stability matters, the feeling of solidity, or of feeling certain. Oh, I loved you so tight. I was the shining white angel in your dreams, sent to rescue with money, blue passport, and promise. I played that role, took it for all it was worth. Elevated to some balcony beyond reach, I loved you so tight, wound myself around your thigh, and cried, drive on, holding the skin of right. The next poem I will read to you is called Blackberry Babies. It was inspired by an expression I came across on a daily word calendar, Blackberry Baby, which was a word for an illegitimate child, apparently used in Arkansas in 1907, and published as a definition in the Harold Wentworth's American Dialect Dictionary of 1944. I personally have never heard this expression used, but I was intrigued by its racial implications. Blackberry Babies. Blackberry Babies was the name for shame, for something so ripe that hung itself in the grabbing, the baby bump from humping before taking any vows or signing any sheets. Blackberry Babies was the name used to frame coitus's illegal results with race to its name, as if only blacks would grab for something so ripe. This last poem that I will read, titled Fruit Withheld, speaks to how one does not stop loving one's prejudiced and racist family. It speaks to a need for love on both sides. In the poem, the speaker presents her struggle with further developing her interracial relationship. She fears family shunning. She is conflicted about internalized racist remnants. Fruit Withheld. Grandfather, I didn't give you any blackberries this year. I withheld them for myself. The plump ones went right into my mouth. Oh, if I could so easily punish you for all the thorns you pushed in that I can't extract, even when I'm enshrined in my black lover's arms. Now don't go falling in love with any darkies. They all hang full with juice. It's too late. My hands are purple, and I'm leaping from sugar highs. A pierce, a pinch. Whatever you do, don't come back with a black husband. And here I am, 2 years with dark glistening. I want to poke up through the snow, unfurl my leaves, and bear black fruit. But there are thorns even inside of me. Aren't those nigger babies cute? She lightened up, and you can't even tell. When girls go with blacks, they let themselves go. And so the berries hang from their little crowns, and so it hangs like thorns over lunch. Ruth had a cousin once, married a Negro, the family cut her out. Had a cousin once. Blackberries bloom only once, bear fruit, and then they die. The only ripe color is black. Grandfather, I've waited my whole white blossoming life for one man to sow a seed. And yes, he's black. Together, we are a solid, strong stalk, one that endures winters with thick, wet snow, that will bend us to the ground. Twined together, we will resist. But grandfather, I'd still like to feel your hand against my cheek and sit together, watching the white flowers expand beyond the limits of taut skin.